Hello there, ladies and gentlemen. Yep, seems we're alive. Awesome. Hello there, Sam, and hello there, Mudcat. How are you guys doing? I do hope you're doing well. Okay, so I have got returned back from THG today, so this should be rather amusing. I've not actually loaded this up yet, to be fair. So it is going to be rather interesting. I think we have a few things that we really need to hope for. Now, we have changed our mission plan regarding the actual Force Akita Butai. And now initially I was under the impression that it would have been against the rules had I had them head out to hunt the American carriers down. But after some clarification, yep, we're good on that one. So I'm free to hunt. Now it's going to be interesting, because at the end of the day, I have a rough idea of where the American carrier could be. A very rough idea. There's going to be very much trying to hunt her down and destroy her. We did lose an unfortunate amount of zeros, but we'll be able to recover from that. The thing is, though, if we find one of the American carriers, we definitely have overwhelming force of arms there in terms of the actual air power. But alas, let's get in here. Now, I do like THG, I love the fact that he names these. FTHGRG, I like it. Okay, let's see. Bear in mind, this is the first time I've seen this as well, so I'm pretty bloody nervous. I just don't want it to be where we end up losing a carrier, you know what I mean? That'd be the worst case scenario. Hopefully we have a good turn. The last turn was pretty good. Shot down quite a few American planes. Okay, we've captured an island there. I'd imagine that's due to the proximity. Let's hope for the best then, shall we? Right, so continue our unloading at Kotobaru, which is going to be okay. 7 coastal guns fired to defense, okay. Now our strategy over here has changed. Of course, we're redeploying forces. We were considering a second bombardment to Kotobaru, but frankly we do not have the ammunition for that. So we are going to be instead using these cruisers and the accompanying destroyers, slash light cruisers, to actually head out into this area over here, where we can then obviously escort our landing forces. Which is something that is still very risky. Ideally, he has very little idea of what's coming. He'll expect something. Right, so we've discovered the submarine Sturgeon over here. This is our first contact with an American submarine, or at least an allied submarine out in this area. Okay. The escort has abandoned this search there. But notice this was actually a task force, so this would have been carrying troops to obviously invade a big gun. This is not a bad thing then. Is the music a little bit too loud, or is it okay? I'll turn the music down just slightly. There we go. Yeah. This could have been quite bad, but we've come off quite lightly here. The submarine here launched 2 torpedoes at submarine chaser 18. That's fine. At the end of the day, we do have quite a number of submarine chasers here, so it is pretty risky for said submarine. But the submarine didn't actually target one of our transportation ships, so that's good. Right, HA-18. One of our midget subs here still remaining in Pearl Harbor. That should be rather intriguing. It is giving us good information, though. So we can see here Ward and Schley. However the heck you pronounce it. So, they are being sighted. The midget submarines are being sighted here. And it should be rather interesting. I'm sure THG will be well aware of midget submarines. Right, HA-22. Sub-escapes detection? Okay. So he's definitely trying to flush us out here. Hello there, AT. How you doing, my friend? Yeah, we've only just started. The McFarland has been so lucky. It really stings me. She survived 2 submarine attacks, 2 of them. She has not yet been hit, and it hurts, because I really wish we could actually take that down. Anything that we can destroy is worthwhile. Okay. But, oh well. We'll have to hope for the best then. Ideally, we'll sing something this turn. We should have things set up to do so. Okay, so we're landing at party. 43 casualties during the unloading there, 8 engineers lost from a landing craft, 19 troops of the Imperial Japanese Infantry Squad, Imperial Japanese Army. Accidentally lost. So I'd imagine they would have been, well, lost during the landings. Possibly drowned, which is an unfortunate thing. But the landing here is unopposed, which is quite nice. Yes, we're actually into turn 3 right now. Is this the original map, or do you play with mods? I play with mods. This is a modded map, and in honestly, well, in all honesty, it's fantastic. I can leave a link to the map mod if you guys would need it. I do believe the original creator, ChemKid, I'm not entirely sure. I don't think he's on the forums anymore, which is a shame, but if he is, or I'm not entirely sure. I do have a link to his work, as it seems to be somewhat hard to find now, unfortunately. But he's definitely the credited creator here. Hello there, Chris. How you doing, my friend? We're just getting into the turn here. Not miss much. So we have, again, the 5 coastal guns. So that's a drop of about 2. Continue on our invasion of a party there. Indeed, Pacific Devils. Right then, so we have a allied task force here. So we're attempting to evade combat, which is probably a good idea. I mean, these ships, though not terribly dangerous, are capable of causing damage. They're only PT boats and a PTQ boat. Okay. I'd imagine we could probably destroy that force, but at the end of the day, I don't want a situation where... I mean, the destroyed minesweepers would definitely be able to handle that, yeah. We have a number of destroyed minesweepers. They're basically slightly less well-armed destroyers, so they would have been able to manage the PT boats. Submarine chasers probably not too well, but they should be armed. I'm just glad that they haven't got in amongst the transports. Hello there, Diligent. How you doing, my friend? Okay. Hit but no explosion. Very, very lucky there. Very nice. And this is the second submarine here. So we've seen Sturgeon and Sculpin. Now, do bear in mind that we actually... I'm not entirely sure the damage that we might have caused at Manila. This is actually a good thing here. If we consider here that these submarines may have been potentially heavily damaged, if they're forced to remain in Manila, should we actually capture Manila, we are sure to destroy them should they have survived the bombs. But I'd imagine they've probably taken a heck of a lot of damage. I mean, these were pretty big bombs. But so far, nobody has lost anything to submarines. We've been neither inflicted nor received anything. Right, Task Force 96 has been disrupted, which is dangerous. So I don't think we'll be landing there this turn in the Philippines. But that's not too bad. We can always, like, divert them elsewhere. It may actually prove to be better, in all honesty, should we divert them. Oh no, seems they may actually still continue the landing at Vigan. Okay, that's not too bad then. Right, we have been observed by Allied aircraft. Okay, seems he's aware of an element of Kidabutai, the Akagi and Kaga. Right, I've seen some Allied ships to the south just then, south of the Philippines. We have some in the South China Sea. I'd imagine those are the ones from Hong Kong. They are entering an area just south of Indochina, where we do have our naval attack, well, our naval bombers. They should be able to do quite well. Yeah, I'd imagine there'll be a sail at some point soon. Okay, these forces here, so we have 6 A-6 M20s, yeah, this is not great. I'd imagine we're probably going to lose a considerable number of aircraft here. Oh, well, we destroyed one off the bat, so that's not too bad. Let's hope for the absolute best here. It's a shame that we have so little zeros here. I wish we had more. If we had at least double this number, we'd probably be okay. But let's see what they can do here. Yeah, additional reinforcements arriving. Additional reinforcement. That's a lot of Warhawks. We may lose a lot of bombers here, but at the end of the day, we need to continue the pressure on Clark Airfield. Will the Northern Campaign against Alaska even Canada draw the Americans away from Australia or Papua New Guinea? Well, we are going to be considering a campaign in the Aleutian Isles. Which... Right, we lost a 0 there, that's a shame. Our first 0 lost. Yes, we will be trying to take one of the Aleutian Isles, potentially more in the future. It will definitely draw attention. For King and Emperor. Right. We are doing some pretty good damage to these Warhawks. We are losing zeros as well. One of them has been destroyed, as far as we can tell. Seems 2 of them have had to retire from the battle. But considering that we're heavily outnumbered here, we're not doing too badly. We are going to lose bombers. We frankly are going to lose bombers. There's nothing that we can do about this. But I need to keep up the pressure on Clark Airfield. The reason for that is, frankly, to prevent THG from, well, having air supremacy. So this is a fight for supremacy in the air. Okay. Our zeros are doing really well, to say they're so heavily outnumbered. Right, we've lost the second 0. At worst, we could only lose 6 zeros. This is not too bad, I guess. I really don't want to lose too many bombers, but we do have additional raids inbound here. Right, an additional A6M2, and the last one's out there. Okay, so to spare myself the actual horror, let's just take a look at the numbers. Oof. That was a lot of planes destroyed there. So what are the final results then? Okay, so not as bad as I feared. Obviously, this isn't the actual true number. So we have lost at least 2 zeros. 4 G3M2 Nels and 1 G4M1. Of course, these numbers aren't really accurate, are they? So we'll have to take a look at this. How about damage? Did we deal any damage to the airfield? No, so that did not go very well for us. Right, now this is looking much better. So it seems that raid wasn't coordinated. So this is something that we need to try and make sure happens. Of course, it's not always likely due to the fact that different squadrons are arriving from different air bases. They do try to coordinate, but they're not always dead on. But we do have 36 zeros here, so let's see what damage we can inflict upon the enemy. Frankly, if we can shoot down a good number of fighter aircraft, we are definitely doing the Emperor's work here. Another P-35A destroyed, more Warhawks inbound. God damn it, destroyer. Okay. Now we need... Yeah, so we are firing on the Warhawks from behind here. Yep, diving on P-40 Warhawk. Yep, behind Warhawk. Okay, so we do lose one here due to controls being unresponsive. Warhawk damaged. Warhawk dies for the deck. Yeah. Warhawk destroyed. P-26A destroyed. Another P-26A. Yeah, that's another one down there. We have no P-40B Warhawks in the air right now. As far as I can tell, I think the P-40B Warhawk is the superior model to the P-40E Warhawk, though I'm not entirely sure. It may be the other way around. We'll take a look at these actual planes. We know that we can definitely deal with them, which is very nice. Okay, another one has arrived here. Could the American carrier fleet sail west to help the Philippines defense, or will that be disaster? Well, this is it. The thing is, he could be potentially running towards Australia, but I want to... I wish I knew where he was. Okay, so we've lost a G4M1, but that's to be expected. I wish I did know where he was going to be heading, but this is what we need to figure out. He does obviously have a chance to do the run to the west. If he does that, he's going to be outnumbered. But an American carrier out here in this area of the Pacific could be very dangerous, should it actually make it out here. I doubt he would run to the Philippines. My bet would be run into Australia, and then obviously towards the Commonwealth. Okay, so not bad there. We did lose some aircraft, of course, but we did inflict some pretty good losses upon THG's air force here in the Philippines. If we continue to keep racking up the damage on his fighter air force, we should be good. It's only light damage here to the airbase, but at the end of the day, if we continue to apply this damage, yep, additional raid here. Had they all arrived at the same time, that could have been really devastating on his forces. But an additional 34 zeros, yep, look at this. It's just continuously shooting down his actual... Right, this is interesting. So notice that P-35 is actually on us. Intriguing. We definitely do need to keep an eye on the actual altitude here. Right, range 2 from behind. Okay. And these things are very maneuverable at lower altitudes. Another P-40E Warhawk down. Yes. I doubt he would have a carrier head for the Philippines. He could, as a suicidal attempt, really. That would be the best it could do, but these carriers are very dangerous. The American carriers do carry a larger complement of actual aircraft than any of the Japanese carriers do. So that's something we always have to remember. Okay. Nice, now we're diving. I suppose this is going to be good experience for our actual pilots here. We may see more, but we may see actual aces, which would be fantastic. At the end of the day, having an actual ace created is going to be very powerful. Okay. There we go, hitting the runway again. One allied light bomber destroyed there, that's very nice. So we're actually hitting planes on the ground here, very good. I think this is what we must continue to do. At the end of the day, I must continue to hit Clark Airfield. I just cannot allow it to recover. We may only inflict light damage, but as long as we keep inflicting damage, keep shooting down enemy aircraft, we'll do well. It's a O-47A destroyed on the ground. Yeah, that's looking better. So we've inflicted a few more hits on the actual airfield here, including the runway. This is quite nice. So bombing from 20,000 feet. Right. The P-40E Warhawks. Group patrol altitude is 20,000 feet. Time for all group planes to reach interception is 25 minutes. Okay. Group altitude is 16,000 feet. Scrambling fighters to 25,000 feet. Right. So what we can summarize here is that potentially the fighters at THG are running about 15,000 feet. You also need to capture the supplies in the Philippines. Yes, we should be able to do that. And P-40B has 4 times 50 cal and 2 times 30. The P-40E has 6 times 50 cal. Okay, yeah, so the P-40E is definitely the more deadly aircraft. Right, unescorted bombers withdraw. How is this going to go? Well, they still head on through. Okay, so one of them is damaged. We do inflict one more hit on the airbase here. So that's not bad, I suppose. If they've made it out alive, I'm happy with that. I'd rather them always be escorted. Right, so we are hitting Kuantan. We are, yep, there we go, destroyed Allied medium bomber. This is what we're trying to do here. We did notice the presence of American medium, well, of American aircraft here. So for us to have destroyed one straight off the bat, yep, Allied reconnaissance damage. This is good. This is very good. No fighter cover either. Fantastic. So depending on what was actually present here, this may help our cause in this part of the Pacific, well, in this part of Asia dramatically. Yeah, I'm happy about this. Very happy about this. This is good experience for our pilots as well. Okay. So it's actually proven to be quite the battle on the air in Asia so far. Okay. This is a pretty decent complement of aircraft. Yeah, about 55 aircraft, that's, well, 55 bombers, that's no laughing matter. I mean, frankly, they're not carrying huge armaments, but still. Right, so we destroyed a Hudson on the ground and supposedly damaged 3 Blenheims, inflicted 3 casualties. Yep, look at that. Runway hits 38, airbase hits 3, supply hits 2. This is nice. The thing is, if we keep on hitting these airfields, we are limiting the Allied response in the air. We are limiting their availability of actual airfields to persecute their missions from. This is good. Right, so we have an additional raid. Hopefully we can inflict further damage. Yep, runway hit. I'd love it if we could actually destroy any more aircraft on the ground. Yep, a Blenheim destroyed, torpedo bomber damaged. This is very, very lucky. The fact that we've not actually been intercepted by any enemy aircraft here is fantastic. Yep, so another Blenheim damaged here as far as we can tell. An additional Blenheim destroyed on the ground, supposedly. Airbase supply hits 1, runway hits 4. Nicely done there. Okay, so the raid on Hong Kong, frankly, it's only really there just to ideally, if possible, cause disruption to the Allied forces there. If it does or not, I'm not entirely sure. Okay. So far so good though. So far so good. Let's take a look over here then. When the game actually loads back in. There we go. Okay, so we can see here 6 Allied casualties inflicted. That's not bad, is it really? I suppose at the end of the day, this is just less men to fight. It looks as though, well, actually, we can't see that as of yet. We are waiting on our 2nd Division to arrive here. No, it can't arrive this turn. It may arrive either in the following turn or the turn after. And then we'll begin the assault on Hong Kong. Okay, inflicting casualties from the air. No losses, so I'm happy. And again, another raid here in Kuantan. Okay, damage another aircraft. We are receiving some flak here. Yeah, more flak. So it seems like the airbase is well and truly aware now. What you got to imagine here is that this is all during a 12-hour period. So it's like these raids could be coming within minutes of each other. They could be arriving in the same hour. So the last raid is always the one to be, well, savaged the most by AA. Was wrong on the P40B, it's even weaker, 4 times vertical and 2 synchronized 2 synchronized 50 cals. So it's the P40E that we need to be concerned with. But we did shoot down a number of P40Es, so that's good. Right, supposedly we've damaged another 5 Blenheims. So this is great, actually. This is actually very important. It really is not to be underestimated. And considering that this is his light bomber or medium bomber forces potentially in Malaya, this is going to make it much easier on our naval forces to make it into Malaya here. So this is quite good. So we've damaged and destroyed a number of Allied bombers at Kuantan. We've also pretty heavily damaged the airbase here. Hello there, Kursar. How you doing, my friends? It's nice to see you once more. How's the Austrian army treating you? Okay. So far we've had a few losses, but we've inflicted a positive ratio there. And we've also caused damage to the enemy air bases, which is worthwhile. Okay, so we're being yeah, they're attacking her. No damage inflicted. Wow, that is a really interesting looking aircraft. I don't think I've actually seen one of these before. That's really interesting. I don't even know which nation that belongs to, but 2 of them were damaged by AA, supposedly. Right, 9 Hudsons, yeah, unescorted bombers withdraw. So yeah, look at these. These guys are coming from Singapore. Wow, supposedly one of our, yep, Hudson damaged. One of our Zeros were damaged. Hudson destroyed. Hudson, sorry, 0 damaged. Hudson destroyed. Yeah, the defensive fire is pretty fierce here. Yeah, damaged. Come on, I need to drive these numbers up. We need to destroy more aircraft. Yes, another undestroyed Hudson. And another. Beautiful. Right, that's what I need. Right, we've only got 1-0 left here in the actual combat. Okay, pretty awesome. Pretty well, just got off duty. Gonna be out in about a few hours again. Ah, man. At least you get a bit of time to relax, though. Yeah, I was thinking Dio, like Donia? That's Chinese. That's really interesting. So at least 2 Hudsons have been destroyed. I think we destroyed 3 or 4, to be fair. But that's good news. Yep, Blenheims. And again unescorted. Though they've made it straight through here. Houston S, this is actually quite the valuable cargo ship. They don't seem to actually deliver any damage. Yes, here we go. So we've got the KI-43 1Bs here, as well as some KI-27Bs. No. These guys are fairly competent. But not the best, but they're fairly competent. We do have the numbers here to ideally destroy these aircraft. But we've definitely dealt quite the blow. Yep, there we go, one destroyed. We've definitely dealt quite the blow to THG's air forces in Asia so far. He will be able to replace them, but it's going to take him a little bit of time. So we do need to take advantage of this. Frankly, every bomber destroyed here does actually potentially mean that another air transport can make it through to Malaya unmolested. I think what we'll have to do then is we might potentially bring baby Kido Butai into this area of the South China Sea, like further, like just into the Gulf of Siam. If they could actually make it in time, try and have their A6720s or Claude potentially run combat air patrol, basically try and escort our actual ships. That'd be really quite advantageous. It'd actually mean we'd have a much greater chance of success. But we've destroyed a few Blenheims here, so this is really good. I mean, we've actually hit the airbase at Kwantan pretty hard, and that's quite important. We've shot down quite a lot so far. So we may very well see some fighter aces born here. Yep, at least 2 Blenheims destroyed. Our ship here did not take any damage, thankfully. Well, this is where we lose ships here, these bloody wildebeest. Well, at least we've got an A6720 and some KI-27s here. Yeah, one of them destroyed. These are the Demon Kin. Second one destroyed. Yeah, they're turning back. Well, not today, my friend. What do we say to the God of Death? Not today. Right, more Hudsons. I do wonder where THG's fighters are. Right, so they made it straight through here. Ooh, okay. They don't inflict damage. So I imagine they dropped bombs but didn't actually make it through. Okay. Right, 6 Blenheims. Well, Blenheims. Right, so our Zero's been driven away by defensive fire. Yeah, and it's out. Yeah, they're gonna make it through here. They may actually hit one of our transports. No, we got off quite lucky there. I suppose THG's bombers did as well, in fairness. So there's actually very busy turn for aerial operations there. Very busy. Right, 9 allied ships, 132, 117, 118, 127, 113, 101 near Wake. Right, near Wake could be very interesting actually. Conning Tower, however. Right, aircraft near Palmyra. Catalina attacking a Japanese submarine. Catalina damaged by flak. Right, we are seeing our forces being shadowed by allied low planes. SSI-22 observes allied dive bombs at 180, 108 near Pearl Harbor. That's interesting. Right, so our G3M2s are actually out here. Ah, we have a British destroyer by the looks. Okay, so no fish in the water, or the fish in the water, yeah, one of them. Launching torpedoes at 2,000 feet, one 18-inch Type 91 torpedo. So we had fish in the water, but obviously it does not hit. But taking out a destroyer is actually a worthwhile target. Destroyer is actually very effective ships. Pretty much like the workhorse, really. That's the way to view them. Okay. So they keep trying to hit the oil. Now THG has got to be wondering what's going on here. Right, three A6M2 Zeros. It may be worth it to actually deploy the Ki-44s down here in Malaya, where they may be able to potentially deal a lot of damage to the actual allied medium bombers. Right, at least another Blenheim destroyed. Okay, looking good so far. Yeah, you can see here 18 unable to locate targets due to range or weather. Yeah, 18 failed to link up, proceeding alone. So you can see here that our squadrons are working and they will definitely hit that. Yep, here we go, another squadron has found the target. So we have here actually a number of destroyers. Scout and Fanet, was it? Right. Admiralty. Ration. APD. Scout. We do take a little bit of damage there from the actual flag. Now, this is actually a worthwhile target to actually go for, considering the fact that these are definitely allied destroyers, and that means that they are warships. There's no messing about, these are warships. If they get into the midst of our transports, those transports will be destroyed. So we may have to actually divert cruisers, potentially heavy cruiser. I mean, the heavy cruiser was pretty much designed to take out the destroyer, pretty much. Destroying all light cruisers. So yeah, we may detach a force of a cruiser, heavy cruiser, potentially 2 light cruisers and a few destroyers to actually deal with this force. They are going to be continuously harassed by aerial forces as well, so that's always a good thing. Okay, destroy Minesweeper, W9. And these have a pretty good chance of actually surviving due to their maneuverability. Will we see a landing here? We can see forces in the Philippines already moving. Did that just hit? Critical damage? Submarine suffers damage. Wow. Supposedly, yeah, taking up water. Okay, wow. Wow. Come on, guys. Come on. I mean, at the end of the day, he's potentially taking damage here. Jeez, we're actually doing really well. Come on. Yeah, it looks like the, yeah, it's finished, but we did do damage. Supposedly 7 hits there. SSS-40 launched 4 torpedoes. So she's potentially received a bloody nose there. She doesn't look as though she's been sunk. Well, I don't think she's been sunk. But the thing is, she's received damage. Whether it's actually light damage, whether it's actually heavier amounts of damage, that means her operational ability is going to be lowered. She's going to have that damage repaired, which means, in effect, we've actually bought ourselves some time from the S-40. That's the way to think of it. If you damage it, you're buying yourself time. Okay, so we're still trying to suppress the coastal defences here. We will see a battle at Cotobrú. Ideally, we are successful at Cotobrú. And only hope. Yes, our forces are beginning their unloading at Vigan. I mean, this is a very dangerous area here, but frankly, as long as I can get my troops onto the shore, I'll be happy with that. We do have to be careful. Oh, wow. Oh, wow, that was harsh. Okay, so we've lost 6 vehicles and 2 guns. Not the greatest there, as well as some support, yeah. Not great, but we'll be able to survive. We will have to reinforce the Philippines pretty quickly. I'd imagine THG is going to be pulling back towards Bataan, Clark, and Manila more than likely. Okay, so the bombardment at Hong Kong. So our 2nd Division will be on its way shortly. We're going to continuously bombard Hong Kong until the 2nd Division arrives, at which point we will then begin to launch deliberate attacks, and we will then begin to try to destroy the defenders of Hong Kong, or try to break them. The Kowloon force is pretty strong there. It's the strongest they have. We'd be able to break them, but frankly, if we can reduce their fortifications, that's going to save us an absolute nightmare. I don't believe there's a river here. Had there been a river, we probably would have already been assaulted, so there's no river. But at least we have that going for us. We'll have to take a look, and it's really going to come down to the preparation here. Hmm. Right. Okay, so what did we do here? So 43 allied casualties. That's good to see. Right, so the defenders are roughly... I doubt that number, I'd imagine it's actually much higher. And they have at least 126 guns and 80 vehicles. So they do have a considerable defense here. Yeah, like a division's equivalent of guns, almost. Plenty of vehicles. So the bombardment will definitely help us out. At the end of the day, it increases their disruption. Obviously, that disruption is very good. Right, so the 8th Indian Brigade here. The 56th Infantry Regiment has to carry the day. The 12th, yes. Right, we reduce the fortifications here. Come on. Throw them out. Right, we don't throw them out to cut up the rule. It's a very dangerous thing here. Now, I don't believe he can have his forces railed this location while there's combat on. I don't think he can do that, considering I don't believe so. But I don't think he's actually moving his forces to reinforce Kotobaru. I mean, I might have done that had I been him, considering that if you actually prevent the Japanese forces from gaining a beachhead, you probably save yourself so much. But we're looking pretty good. We should probably be able to take this in the following turn. Yeah, and take a look at these casualties. 45 sustained, 481 inflicted. They have taken a hell of a beating. They did lose over 100 casualties. Well, they did suffer over 100 casualties due to a bombardment from the sea here. So they're not having the greatest day right now. Allied bombardment. Yeah. Okay. We should be able to do this. We've seen nothing of the Pacific here, so that's rather intriguing. We've seen, obviously, the ASW activities around Pearl Harbor, but beyond that, nothing else. So we'll have to take a look at what we've seen there. We've had reports of Allied aircraft. So we'll try and figure out what we're up against. So all in all, not a bad turn at all. I'm actually quite happy with that. And we've achieved what we needed to so far. We've landed in the Philippines unopposed, more or less. Obviously, there has been some misfortune, but it's been fairly well so far. Gone fairly well so far. From where will the... Right, Hong Kong is going to be invaded from the mainland. If you take a look over here, we already do have our forces over here on the mainland. It's a shame because I really do need to give them supplies. I may actually consider having transport aircraft used to supply them. We did pull back our midget submarines over here, to be fair. I didn't actually think they'd make it to Canton, but they did, which is actually quite impressive. We have our 2nd Division here, the 104th Division. It is on its way. They'll be there, yes. So the following day they will arrive, so they will arrive December 11th, 1941. Okay, that's very good. This is a issue of supply. So I think we may have to consider flying supplies in here just to make sure we get that. That will obviously aid our forces there quite nicely. We do have plenty of supplies here at Canton. Yeah, just over 30,000 tons of supplies. So we do need those to actually make it there. Okay. Rightio. So let's inspect the actual game at large. So we did inflict some pretty heavy damage over here. So it's saying supposedly 22 damage. Let's actually take a look at the losses incurred and received. So, aircraft losses. So today, this is what we want to see. So we did lose 10 G3M2 Nels today, 8 of them in air-to-air combat, so obviously shot down, 1 to flak, and it seems one of them was lost to operational. 8 G4M1 Betty, 7 in air-to-air, so obviously shot down, and an additional 1 in operational. We can see here that THG has lost an additional 7 P-40E Warhawks, so the actual good Warhawks are decent ones. 5 in air-to-air combat, 2 in operational. 6 Blenheims, 5 shot down. We've lost 5 A6M20s, 4 of them were shot down, one of them destroyed due to operational concerns, obviously like either lack of fuel or obviously and just potentially damaged and just lost on its way back, or just lost, basically. Not shot down, but lost. We see 5 Hudsons destroyed, 4 P-35As, 4 P-26As. We lose 2 Ki-48 1B Lilies. He has lost an additional 2 P-40B Warhawks. So it seems like when we're actually destroying, quote-unquote, we've actually quite heavily damaged a number of aircraft, not actually destroyed them. But this isn't too bad at all. I'm not going to complain about the fact that we've inflicted pretty heavy losses. Gone are the days of losing 50 A6M20s in a day. Gone are those days. We've actually managed to reduce the loss ratio down quite considerably, which is very, very nice. But yeah, you can see here, if we go back, air-to-air losses, today 24, we've lost 39 in the campaign so far. Destroyed in the airfield, 3 today, 41 in the campaign. Destroyed by flak, 3. No, 0 today, but 3 in the campaign. Oh, these are the Japanese and this is... Right, okay. So yeah, you can see here, he's lost 24 aircraft today. 3 of them destroyed on the ground. 7 lost to operational concerns. Okay. So yeah, we've actually turned this from a negative to a positive here, roughly. Well, actually, this was a big killer. The flak really annihilated us over Pearl Harbor. Not the actual enemy pilots. Okay, still, we'll manage. Not many ships have been sunk yet. Not many, really. Let's take a look at the Pacific. I just want to see where we're going here. Oops. Right. We've still yet to locate a American carrier. There's Kitabutai here. Right, we are starting to run somewhat low on fuel here, so we can't continue to run at full speed. We'll have to share that fuel out. We are going to need a refuel in operation pretty soon, actually, so I'm going to have to bring these guys down this way. We do have fuel enough to last us, and in the worst case scenario, we can just head towards the island of Kwajalein, or Kwajalein Island, where we do have over 21,000 litres of fuel. Well, I'm going to assume it's litres. Well, actually, we'll say tons of fuel then. 21,000 tons of fuel. Liquid tons, you know what I mean? Like volumes. I don't know. Right. That bloody AVD managed to make it through here, and that's rather irritating. So let's take a look then what we see from the, not the combat reports, but the operations reports. I-4 reports have been sighted by enemy at 183, 108, 179, 106, 180, 105, 180, 106, 179, 10... That's interesting. So, 1-8. Right, okay, so all of these submarines are being pretty much detected. Let's go again to the operations report here. So we did occupy another island. Coastwatch is sighting 8 allied ships near Hong Kong. 33rd Division packing for load. Okay, 1 day remaining. 2nd Tank Regiment remaining. Okay. 9 allied ships near Hong Kong, supposedly. These guys are loading here for the 3rd. Task Force 364 out of fuel at 7761. Which is 7761, so 163. Could it be the... Yeah, I'm gonna assume it's the... Yeah, okay. I didn't actually mean to send them out that way, to be fair. So, it's one of these where they're probably gonna die. Probably. Right, PG. That's an interesting number of ships there. Hmm. We do have a number of patrol boats here. I think what we need to do then is actually take a number of them and start setting up some patrols over here. We do have our carriers. They have... Right, we have Ryujo. Oh. We have Baby Kido Butai. Righty. Yes, and we have the additional invasion force here. Yeah, so we have 2 invasion forces on that way. We may actually want to take this one and have it land actually over here instead, to be fair. As we haven't taken the base as of yet, but next time we will have the base at the party. What is the size of the port there? We only have a size 1 port, so what we'll have to do is start ferrying some supplies in here. We may actually want to use our air transportation squadrons, actually just to drop supplies off here, just to increase the amount off the bat. Though we do have a large amount of supplies, I'd imagine, yeah, that's plenty of supplies, like over 30,000 tons of supplies there. Okay. Thankfully, we didn't take any losses here. Our cano detachment has landed. I don't know if they're in full strength. So we'll take the base of Vegan and Apari in the next turn. Brilliant. So at least we'll have our footholds in the Philippines. I'd imagine he's pulling his forces back over this way. Oh boy, that's a lot of men there. But then, Carl, how you doing, my friend? We did fairly well. We've suffered a few bomber losses. How many? Yeah, so we lost 19 aircraft today. Well, in the air, but we've destroyed 24 in the air. Mostly bombers, as you can imagine. So we'll have to obviously take a look at the amount of bombers, G3s and G4s that we have available. We should be able to replace those numbers. Okay. Additional ships down this way. We do have I-123 moving into this area. Obviously, it's going to try and intercept anything it could. You know what worries me is I've not seen anything of Force Z. So Force Z is definitely still active. This is going to be rather intriguing. I suppose I dropped the ball on that one. I definitely had buggered these squadrons up, so it's definitely a dropping of the ball moment there. Probably the mistake I've made so far. But we're learning. No carriers as of yet. We do have Kidabutai in over here, but Kidabutai is going to need refueling it sometime soon. She's burnt a lot of fuel to actually move to this area pretty quickly. We have taken quite a bit of systems damage. Not huge amounts, but a system damage nonetheless, due to that high movement. As you can imagine, that's not great for the engines to be operating at such high speed for such a length of time. Again, here we are starting to take system damage and imagine engine damage. But so far as yet, no sightings of enemy carriers, which is rather intriguing. How goes our forays into the South Pacific? We are looking towards Canton Island. Our invasion force is not far out here. Maybe about 3 days, 2 to 3 days until we have our landings there. I'd say 2 days, and then on the 3rd day we'll have the landing. Our AMCs are making their way towards Canton Island. They're closing in. You're heading towards... yeah, just over this way. I might actually have you head towards Palmyra itself, potentially. We'll see. Well, what we're doing here is we did have a wide coverage here to actually try and flush out the American carrier. She might have gone this way, in fairness. That's a possibility. But we'll try and deduce. She may be just out of sight. Could be much closer than we realise. What we need to do then is figure this out. What we need to figure out is, from the operations report, the actual information that we're presented with, i.e. submarine is sighted by, etc. Let's see. Right. Task Force 334 observes Allied aircraft at 16799 near French Frigate School. Sorry, French Frigate Shoal. Task Force 2 detects by Allied floatplane at 16799. 19 detected. Task Force Snoot by Allied level bomber at 6472 near Cameron Bay. Okay. So this is an interesting report event, 16799, near French frigate shoal. Now, that of course be... Yeah, it could be, very well be the aircraft from over here. Definitely a possibility. We're on our way to Australia with a submarine anyway, so that's always the last home. Should the carrier even be moving in this direction? That's the point there. We don't know. I don't know where she is. We're trying our best to deduce that, but of course we are running from the information we're presented with, so we don't have perfect information. I've not played as the Allies, so I don't know where they start. I have a rough idea from obviously the historical precedent, but other than that, I don't know. Okay, yeah, here we go. Credited with kill number 3. Very impressive. Right. I-5 detects Allied heavy bomber 105 near Pearl Harbor. Allied torpedo bomber 181-105. Let's take a look at that. So 1821. Yes, this is obviously near Pearl Harbor. That makes sense as well, because we know there is more than likely B-17s out this way. Okay. Yeah, as you can see here, they crash. Written off, written off. Right, 133101, Conning Tower. That's actually pretty good information. So supposedly we have a late cargo class at 4974. Will the American subs also patrol the South China Sea? Oh yeah, they definitely will. They're already trying to do it now. Whether he has actual submarines in there already is probably... Right, so snooped by Allied float plane at... Sorry, Allied aircraft at 171-128 near Palmyra. Right, interesting. Allied float plane at 159-121 near Johnston. Yeah, you see a lot of them were damaged on landing. Right, so 159-121 near Johnston. Then 171-128 by Palmyra. Right. I think there's already aircraft at Palmyra. So that's something we do have to bear in mind. There could be the aircraft there. That's what I'd imagine. Now, as to where we're going to head for the American aircraft carrier, it's really an interesting question. It must be somewhere in this area. Must be. I don't think she could have escaped us. I think we're probably closer than we realise. I mean, she could very well just be out here somewhere. Kidabutai is out here. She's definitely on the hunt. We do have them set up to deliver a killing blow. Should we find her. That's all we need to do is find her. Palmyra, there are no airfields there. Is that correct? We do have a level 2 airfield. Okay. We aren't aware of aircraft, but we know there's a level 2 airfield here. So there could be aircraft here now. We don't know whether they're from the land-based airfield or whether they're from the flight deck of an American carrier. We don't know. Okay. How did we go over here in China? We haven't seen much, have we? Okay, yep, so you can take a look at this. So we actually did arrive here at Yichang. The Chinese forces have arrived as well, so that's interesting to see that we haven't seen combat launch there. So they might, yes, these are the forces from north here. This is going to be very interesting. Right then, ladies and gentlemen. So what you have to bear in mind here is, When these forces attempt to cross the river, that automatically launches an assault. Basically, they're crossing the river into enemy positions. There's already a Chinese force present here. At least, well, quite a few units of Chinese forces. We do have... How many forces do we have in total? Over 10,000 frontline infantry, over 7,000 second line infantry, 126 guns and 42 vehicles. We have 4,285 tons of supply. We have fortifications at level 3. But in fairness, I may have to use additional air transport assets to actually supply Yichang with supplies to keep that fight. But should they actually solve, we should inflict some pretty grievous losses. He may lose confidence then. Okay, so he's still attempted to move forces from just south of Xinjiang to attack the rail line here. He's definitely going to be going for that. We do have reinforcements travelling down this way, which will be heading towards Wuchang. We have forces from Hankow that are heading north to deal with this. We have our forces over here from Nanchang, which are going to be heading out into this area of southern China. Of course, more forces are heading this way as well. The ones that aren't, of course, moving are the ones that are resting and training. Okay. So we're seeing more and more transports actually near their destination of Port Arthur, Shanghai, Kizhou, Fusan, of course Hakatati, Sapporo, and Toyohara, and then Kishiro, which is where we're running our transports from. Of course, we'll be running a small line down here by Formosa from Taihoku, just to try and get some more resources in, really. Okay, so we can see here we've so far loaded 20,000 tons of supply. Well, sorry, resources. Good, that's what we need. Okay. So far, there's been no major movement. We have our forces on their way to Chiang Mai, which is going to be good. We can start moving towards the Burmese border. We have our forces, right, okay, so the British forces from Victoria Point have reached Chumphon. So we will have to drive them out of here. Okay, yep, combat. You must deliver that deliberate attack. You must do this. We are potentially able to still use this. I'm not entirely sure if we can. So ideally we can drive them out before they can block it. We will have to, again, attack, drive the British forces from their position. We have our forces continuously unloading here. The armor may be ready to go now. It may be ready. The infantry is already on the move. It's going to take them a long time, but they're already on the move. I may be able to use my armor to actually advance here, try and take the base pretty quickly. Obviously, then that would allow movement to continue pretty rapidly. But really, all this comes down to is... Right, so we can see here there's at least 4,200 troops here. 20 guns, 6 AFVs. Now, that's obviously significantly more than we can manage with this first wave of the Mersing invasion. It may be worthwhile for us to actually wait for this second force to arrive. Yeah, the Mersing follow-up. Okay. Right. Don't we have an additional one? We should have one with about 10,000 troops. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so we have... Yeah. Right, so we have at least 14 or so odd thousand troops that we can land in Mersing. Now, the thing is... You're not too far out. I could put them on full speed. Now, they're on mission speed. We do have the Megami, Mikuma, Suzuya, Kumano, Mikazi, Nawaki, Awashi, the Oi. So we do have some pretty heavy firepower. Now, of course, they have used a lot of their munitions, but at the end of the day, they still have their secondary guns, their secondary armament. So they can still lay down some suppressive fire, and some deadly fire at that. I could set them to cruise speed. We also do have the battleships here of Kongo and Haruna. Kongo and Haruna have not fired their guns in anger in a bombardment as of yet. So, potentially we could deal quite a heavy blow to the forces at Mersing. potentially enough to allow the forces of the 124th Infantry, yeah, to possibly break through. These forces do have exceptionally high experience, they do have exceptionally high morale. They're pretty motivated from what we can tell here. So they may be able to deal considerable damage to the forces of Mersing. I think it may be worthwhile to perhaps continue, yeah, have the Mersing, the first one invade, well, move at cruising speed, obviously reduce speed. Although, of course, that does risk discovery by allied forces and allied aircraft. And go for it, just make sure you can use it. Well, the thing is, we would probably lose a lot of forces at Mersing, though not too many, I'd imagine. It really depends on what forces he has available at Mersing. I doubt he's going to have his best. The entire reason for landing here at Mersing is to take control of this rail line here. Or, best case now would be Johoburu. If I could take control of Johoburu, I'd be insanely happy. But I need to actually prevent the retreat of all these British forces in Malaya. If I prevent their escape, I can destroy the Malaya over time, and Singapore would definitely fall much sooner. Now you can see here he has at least 22,000 troops. At least. So there's not going to be any point to actually attack Singapore. I'm only going to attack Singapore when they've been sufficiently starved out, in my opinion. Singapore itself does, of course, produce resources. Right. Yes, you have some resources, you have light industry. So you will be able to produce supplies. So what we'll have to do, of course, is really build up our forces and then attack Singapore. And then try and starve them out. We'll try and obviously bring aircraft to bear on Singapore, but that's going to take some time. I do think it would be preferable to instead bypass Singapore, just blockade it really, make it just effectively neutered. I would have to try and deal with the airfield, that's a difficult thing here. The port has actually apparently received damage, which is rather interesting. That may be due down to the mines, perhaps, that we laid with our submarines. Possibly. Right. So I think it would probably be worthwhile to actually bypass Singapore itself almost completely. Just make sure it's not a direct threat, but just bypass it and probably land over here at Osthaven. It's like landing over here at Batavia would be very risky. I know that is a doable option, but it would be very risky. We do have additional forces that will be headed from Japan, the division over here at Nagasaki, which will be deployed from Nagasaki to the Philippines to obviously reinforce the offensive here, which is what we need definitely. Right. So we have, obviously, as I said, an increased number of transports reaching their location, so we can start to increase the amount of resources heading back into Japan pretty soon. As soon as I can get a convoy going, I will be definitely much happier. Right, so fuel is going to be needed down here. We do have 49,113 tons of fuel. So we'll resupply Kiributai, and in fact I could resupply these submarines, really. Okay, make sure you can resupply the landing too. The landing forces should have a good amount of supplies, frankly. You are carrying... How's you carrying? Yeah, you're carrying at least 14,000 tons of supply, so yeah, that's more than enough for a few days' operations. Enough to keep them going for some time. Now, we do obviously have our G3s and G4s over here that are going to be hunted down. These are allied ships. That's good news. We haven't been so lucky in terms of actually sinking allied ships, so definitely not the rampage that we would expect against the AI. But we are doing well in the air war. Clark Airfield continues to be pummeled. The number of aircraft has somewhat dropped. It seems there's a lot over here in Manila. So in the future we'll probably change tack and actually attack the Air Force and the airfield at Manila. But for the time being we're doing pretty well. There's fighters over here. But as long as we continue to suppress the Philippines and the American Air Force there, that's what we need to do. Okay. Yeah, exactly. I do hope that we're taken in by somewhat surprise. We do have the Guam landing. It's on its way, it's just taking some time, obviously, to arrive there. It's moving pretty slowly. But Guam will fall in a few days. The invasion at Wake will take place next turn. So we actually did strengthen the Wake task force. So we now see obviously the light cruisers, the destroyers, patrol boats, AMCs. These are very nice. Actually, I'd very much like to send them out to the Pacific afterwards. And I think we did add some extra troops here to the invasion. We do have about 3,000 in total, 289 pieces of equipment, unknown number of guns really at this moment in time. Obviously we'll bring in Akagi and Kaga to then deal with them. Okay. We do have a submarine off the coast of America, off the coast, here. Yeah, just off the coast of San Francisco. The Canton Island landings really do represent a pretty big deal. Definitely. But as far as yet, we really aren't seeing much in the way of allied task forces. We see a few motor-launched ships over here. Transports, we don't know what this is. But we can summarize... Well, really, this is interesting, considering that Force Z has to be somewhere in this area. We do have a considerable number of submarines guarding this area here, so it's going to be quite a dangerous track for him to actually move around Singapore, which is what we want. I mean, perhaps by not even trying to take Singapore, but instead blockading it, we might encourage him to risk moving ships into this area. I mean, frankly, it's a very dangerous, well, fortress. But I'm not going to waste time. I'm not going to waste lives and equipment on trying to take a fortress when I can just simply starve it out later. It's not worth it. So what we'll do is obviously bypass that, as we said. So now what we need to do really is take a look at the actual economic and industrial concerns. So we'll make a save here, and then we'll do just that. So 156. This turn, well, this episode really is going to be just evaluating what we've seen here. Just obviously getting the information and looking at what we are to do next. I'm not going to be making the moves as of now. So, let's get that up then. Apologies about my desktop. I know it's really cluttered. It's just so much to, like, move around. I don't know where to begin. I've given up, pretty much. Okay, 156. Okay. I'm glad that this game is underway. I'm glad that we're really getting into the meat of it now. Soon we'll start seeing the action really ramp up in terms of what's at risk. As frankly, we do have a lot of valuable ships in the area. I suppose the worst case scenario of not actually finding an American carrier is pretty much the historical scenario anyway. So I'm prepared to accept that. See you later there, Cursor. Have a great one, my dude. I don't want to waste lives. That was defeatist talk. No. I mean, I just need to make sure we get them to where they're needed. Okay, so we can see here APD Minakazi, Sarawakazi, Okikazi, Akikazi, Yukazi, Nakazi, Namikazi, and Numakazi. Obviously, these are being converted into the Minakazi APDs. Convoy simulator. We'll be back, don't worry. We're just waiting for our actual transportation ships to arrive. Okay, so let's actually take a look at... Well, we need to actually load the next turn. So return and free. Sorry, turn 4. Okay, so current turn. Right. As you can see, obviously the number of vehicle points is obviously not good, but we are increasing that. That's on the card now. Detection has increased, of course. Right, so they're aware of Mersing 2. They are aware of that force, but I don't think they're aware of the other one, as far as we can tell. Okay, these midget submarines are out of fuel. These ones are at Pearl and surrounding area. That's obviously just south of Canton, which is a shame, because that's cost me supply. I wish I didn't actually... Well, I mean, I accidentally sent them there, so that's not too bad. Right, so these forces have reached their destination at Anyang, Nagasaki, yeah, so 53rd Division, 54th Division, 66th Infantry Group, 52nd Division has been packed at Kanezawa. 61st Infantry Group has reached its destination at Tokyo. Yokosuka Replenishment Artillery Regiment? Not entirely sure what this one is. 19th Division has been packed at Hijo. Okay. Hankau. Kaigan. Kalgan. Right, been packed. You've reached your destination at Fusan. Mukden. Tangshan. 14th has been packed. 4th has been packed at Osaka, Kyoto. Imperial Guard Division has been packed. 146 has been packed. 2nd Tank, 33rd. Yeah, just look at all these forces that we have moving. A lot of them. Is this all I'm seeing here in terms of actual results? Okay, I feel like there should be more. I want to scroll here. I've got my favourite song on. This is my favourite now. There we go. Definitely sets the epic mood here. Leadership has increased. New leaders have arrived. I'll have to take a look at them. Seems they've been assigned already. Yeah, assigned to 24th Infantry Regiment. Assigned to Tainan KUS-1 Detachment A. Okay, so let's take a look at the economics then, shall we? Right. 6,280 heavy industry points remaining. We should have seen an increase in vehicle points, at least the ones being consumed, as well as increases over here. This should remain pretty steady considering we're not really changing anything as of the changes we already made. Resources continue to be in negative here. Oil obviously still negative, fuel negative, but this is still good. This is good. Okay. So, what I want to figure out then is how we're doing in terms of resources in Japan itself. I still need to actually set up the, oh god, what do you call it now? But at least you see information from the other areas of the map. I forgot about that. I need to do that. Note to self, do that. But anyway, we can still look at... I mean, the most important thing is what's in Japan anyway. Everything else is irrelevant until it gets to Japan. Barring the heavy industry, that's always relevant. So we can see here, then, let's take a look at the actual resource history. We can see we are still spending resources. You can see the amount of resources being expended here has increased dramatically from turn 2 to 3. Yeah, so just over 100,000 tons really has been consumed. At least 100,000 tons, roughly, has been consumed there. So ideally, we do need to start getting resources pumping into Japan itself pretty soon. I really can't allow the amount of resources in Tokyo and... Oh god, what's the name of the other one? Oh god. Kanto. No, Kanto? I can't believe I remember the name of the major city now. Osaka, Kyoto, yeah. Osaka and Kyoto, well, Osaka, Kyoto, and Tokyo. That's what I meant. Right, we'll sort this by heavy industry. You better hope the West Coast doesn't send out sub-hunters or you will be blind there. Well, the thing is, if he sends out sub-hunters, all I need to do is just pull out further into Pacific. It's like, at the end of the day, I do have a lot of submarines around Pearl Harbor and the Hawaiian Islands. What I'll be doing then is in the following episodes is really just pulling those submarines further back from Pearl Harbor itself. Just keep the midget submarines in there, so at least then they can have a purpose. But yeah, if we take a look at this then, so Tokyo, we have 20 days of resources left. So you can see that, I think we had 21 days previously. Or something around that, definitely in the 20s. 20 days at Osaka, Kyoto, 35 days at Nagoya. Okay. Plenty of oil to keep us going. Plenty of fuel to keep us going. It's really the resources that we need to continuously up and up and up and up. I need more. So you can see here, supposedly there's 200,000 tons of resources well, in the shipping right now. Obviously, that's going to continuously increase, but I think, as far as I'm aware, that takes into consideration all transport squadrons, well, all transport task forces that are loading resources here. So at least we should be able to make up some of those numbers there. We send in things to Palmyra. We do have a AMC that I could actually send towards that area. We do, of course, have other submarines, well, submarines that are very close by that could actually reach that area. So it may be worthwhile to detach a submarine there just to make sure we have some idea of what's going on. Okay. Take a look at our air production. Right, status building. Okay. So we are increasing the number of A6M2 zeros being produced. I think this was originally 56 a month. We now increase this to roughly 58 a month, which is a good increase. 1.93 a day, so once we get to 2, that'd be good. Obviously, this will continue to up as we build more and more and more and more of them. The engines is really where it's at. We are increasing the A6M2 production airframe-wise, but it's not so much the airframes, it's more so the engines. That's what we really need more of. Right. If I take a look at the history here. -1. But you can see that the amount of zeros being built has increased. So you can see here 56, 57, 58. So it's going to continuously increase. We do have a lot. Yeah, okay. So 143 factories repairing, 142 factories repairing. I think we're building this up to about 200. I can't quite recall if it's about 200. These are the total number of losses. So the first turn, 56, 57, 62. So definitely a big difference there in total losses. Big difference. Okay. We are losing a number of bombers, which is... It hurts, you know? It really does. But we should be able to make up for that. We are increasing the number of bombers being built, of course. Increased number of factories here. We did lose 14, so sorry, 0, 0, 6, 14. We've lost 20 G4M1s so far. The G3M2s we've lost... Yeah, okay, so... Right, 19 give or take. The amount being built has increased, so that's quite good. We're producing 0.8 a day, 0.9 per day. So within a month we'll produce 27 and 24. 58 A6M2 zeros. Okay. So far we've not actually lost a KI-43IC. You can see the number being built has increased from 32 to 33, 34. That's a good change, very good change. I do need to actually get a lot of these KI-43ICs out there. I think what we'll probably do then is build up the numbers to such a degree where I could actually swap an entire squadron over, well, all at once rather than piecemeal. I want to make sure they're actually capable and ready. The thing is, we can't do that in a frontline situation, so we'll have to do that from the rear, really. Okay. Not bad. Decent number of KI-48-1Bs, or IBs. D3A-1 Vals. Production's increasing. How about my Kates B5N2s? Yes, we're actually building them now. That's very good. Very good, very, very good. Right, now, engines. Okay. So, the Nakajima HA-35. Right, so this is increasing. It will be increasing. There's 700 factories that we'll see in total towards the end. I may increase that further in the future. But 516 are still repairing, 184 engines a month. We have 167 HA-35s in the pool, which is very nice, actually. So obviously, as we increase the amount of Nakajima HA-35s that we continue to produce, we should be doing pretty well. I need over 500 engines to actually get that R&D bonus. So that's what we're aiming for. Once I get that R&D bonus, that's going to make a lot of things really come to life. As we'll see new models of aircraft arrive to the battlefield much sooner. And the thing is, that's going to scare THG. That's going to make things difficult for the Allied forces, as they're going to be going up against superior Japanese aircraft sooner than historically thought. Of course, THG has a lot more freedom as well, but we do, and I think that really does help us out considerably. So yes, numbers do continually increase, which is always nice. Okay. Very good. Very happy about these results here. Now, can I actually take a look at my pilots? I'd like to see how many they've actually, like, killed. Right, kills. Right. So we do have what appears to be the makings of a double ace. Nice. The oh, this is the Yamada detachment, not the actual... Right, okay, not the actual pilot. So we'll take a look over here then. Okay, so the most kills that we've had from a single pilot has been Asada. He is flying an A6120. So far, he has ran 3 missions and killed 3 enemy pilots. Well, 3 enemy planes here. So at least an average of 1 plane per mission. So that's pretty good. I mean, something like that is actually very nice, considering that each mission actually does result in a kill on average, which is very impressive. So he's on his way to being our first ace there. I think they become aces at 5 kills, double aces at 10, something like that. Very nice. Very, very nice. Yeah, notice the fact that most of these are A6M20s. That's what I want you to take a look at. Now, you are from the Tainan Squadron Yamada. Okay. What I'm going to do here then is, we'll sort by kills. But I'm going to obviously have this down to just fighters only. Right. So 3 from Tainan. 5 from Tainan. Yamada with 4. Tainan down here with 0. Actually, no, 1 kill. Okay. From Hero. Interesting. Is that the, that may have been earlier. Right. Lead 301 pilots of the Imperial Japanese Army. Okay. Yeah, 19th of February and 5th of April. Yamato. Or Yamato. Till 22nd of May. Right. So you can see here that we actually do have a larger difference now in the naval pool. That's good to see. So that means that we have additional heavy industry points that are being saved over here. I'm happy about that. Let's take a look at the actual map itself then. So we do obviously have a large amount of ships over here, so this is pretty much where Congo and Naruna would be in this area. So we are running pretty well. We do have pretty good information in this area itself. Obviously due to the amount of search planes and reconnaissance aircraft. To be fair, I did have reconnaissance aircraft run over supposedly Singapore and other bases. Now whether they've actually been able to get information would be very nice to know. Okay, so we do have a pretty good and spread out search arc over here. So this is obviously carriers. We do have other carriers over here as well. But we do have some pretty good information over the Philippines. By the enemy substab, we'll have a look in a short amount of time. Okay. Yeah. So the thing is, this is obviously the extent of Kiributai's search radius with her planes. We've obviously increased that due to the fact that we are sending out dive bombers into the actual search, which is quite nice. At least that does give us a good chance. So this is definitely increased in its viability. We do have the actual defined arc from our naval bombers over here, so it is reaching this area. I think at the end of the day, it may come down to potentially either our bombers getting a trace or Kiributai getting a trace. We do have our submarines over this way. So we have really moved this way. And frankly, if the American carrier had headed north, we'd have probably detected it with Kidabutai by now. We do have, obviously, Akagi and Karga over here, and Akagi and Karga could kill an enemy carrier. It's a very risky situation because it's a 2-on-1 situation, and in a 2-on-1 situation, a American carrier of a Lexington class is roughly equivalent to our 2 carriers. So, of course, these are the biggest ones, not the smaller ones. So they do carry a good complement. But it all comes down to experience, really. Japanese carriers do, of course, have... I think they have, obviously, principally just attack forces. Well, yeah, just attack forces. Whereas I think an American carrier does obviously carry its own reconnaissance. Oh, indeed. Okay. Rightio. Enemy submarines. Try and... I'm not entirely sure if this one always works. I think it might even need, like, information tabs open. Well, the actual intel reports and operations. But, yeah, as far as I can see, nothing there. Ship movements, obviously that would be okay, but, yeah. Right. Okay, that's really awesome, not gonna lie. So there, Snake, how you do, my friend? Right, so when we zoom in here at 100, then we can obviously see the turn movement. Now, of course, the first turn we did have the massive bonus to the actual movement, so they moved all the way from over here at Ichiro-Rufu, all the way to here, just outside of Pearl Harbor. Yeah. So we are moving pretty quickly here. The war's going, it's going okay so far. We haven't yet discovered an American carrier as of yet, so it continues. It definitely does continue. But the thing is, at the end of the day, they could be out this way, not too terribly far away from us. Of course, they will have to deal with the search arcs pretty soon. Yeah. So this is what we're working with here on a global scale. We do have search arcs pretty much all over this sort of band. We obviously have the defined arcs around Japan itself. Some information just off the coast of America here, but nothing really amazing. These AMCs do have search planes of their own, so at the end of the day, they do have the opportunity to potentially give away the American carrier position. But frankly, should she be heading towards, well, Australia, it's just going to take persistence to find her. At the end of the day, all I need is a little bit of solid information. If I can just get a solid scent of her, then we can definitely hunt her down. Frankly, should she head into Australia, should she head into a port, I'll annihilate the port. It's gonna hurt. It's gonna take time, but all I need is really just one solid hit on her. Something that's gonna knock her out for at least a couple months or a month or 2 months. Anything like that will make a difference. Push Palmyra. Well, we are sending submarines down there, but the thing is, I doubt she could have made it to Palmyra. I think she starts out near Johnston Island, give or take. So should she have headed that way, I think our submarines would probably have detected her by now. She would have been crossing the T on the submarines pretty much, and our submarines obviously were fanning out quite large, in a large arc. She might be just out of sight. I mean, we only have like a single search plane on each of these submarines that are obviously equipped with that. So, I don't know, potentially she might have ran towards Palmyra, but the thing is, Palmyra can't house her. So it's an interesting question. I mean, personally, I think she's probably going towards, towards, Australia, perhaps. But who knows? Okay. I mean, this is it. We've just got to try and hope for the best and try and figure it out. Other than that, the economy is looking pretty okay. Things are going well enough. Production is increasing. Engine production is increasing quite nicely. We did actually deliver some nice damage to a enemy submarine, so that was quite good. Yeah, it depends on the fuel. I think we may push you with the submarines at full speed for an additional turn, but we are burning a lot of fuel here. This is a lot of fuel being burned, so I'm going to have to bring my oilers down here just to refuel them. I suppose at the end of the day, should we get lucky in destroying American carrier, it's going to be well worth that fuel. I do have fuel at Kwajalein Island. Ooh, I am French. I don't know how you pronounce that. I apologize. Right. I do have fuel over here should we need it. We are seeing enemy activity. We'll also see Guam invaded in the next couple of days. Wait will be hit in the next couple of days. Maybe he plans to go around Australia and take our forces around Singapore. He could very well do that. He very well could do that. But the thing is, he'd be better off heading towards the Celebes Sea, really. If you could hit me around this area, this is probably when I'm weakest. The vast majority of our forces that are very much risky, of risk, are going to be in this area soon enough, anyway. Okay. We did run quite the gambit over here, and we did survive, so that was quite good. We definitely damaged, possibly lightly, possibly heavily, damaged a submarine down this end. So we can see here that the American submarines are making their way towards the East China Sea. They're definitely on their way. Most of our forces, most of the actual transport ships are nearing their destination. They'll be there shortly. When they all arrive, obviously this will be a hell of a lot more sparse in terms of actual ships traveling back and forth. We have had our engineers arrive over here, which is fantastic. So at the end of the day, we have additional transportation, additional construction capabilities. So the port expansion at Fusan will definitely increase in speed. Definitely increase. Tokyo is seeing her repair shipyard increase in size. But it will be. Port capacity shipyard, yep, 12. I think it starts at about 10. I've set that to increase to 100, so obviously we can have the conversions and the upgrades done. How long for the APDs? I think they'll roughly be another... They should be about a month. We'll take a look over here at Osaka, Kyoto. ACMs have arrived here. Okay, well, here. The ship's under repair. Ekikazi. 29 days. We'll expect them in sometime January 1942. But the thing is, once we have those APDs, we'll have quite a effective little task force there. And as I've mentioned a couple streams, we will put together obviously the escort carriers and the APDs, and it will start really playing God in the Pacific by deploying forces out there. The goal being to establish forward positions from which we can strike at enemy positions and shippings. It's not too long really, it's only about 29 turns. It'll fly by, trust me. The thing is, a lot of these turns will... It'll be interesting, they'll either be quite long or quite short, there's not much in between really. We've had over an hour and a half here, but this is the vast majority of the theory work here. In the next episode, we'll be going through and actually doing the practical. But I do like to make sure we get a lot of theory in, really get a lot of actual of our thoughts out here. And frankly, I do love this. I'm enjoying this game so very much. We've managed to really turn the situation around. Yeah, we took a lot of losses on the first day, but we've definitely inflicted more. Why not make it faster, like rush it? The only way I could feasibly rush it is by sending a bunch of engineers there, but I don't even think that'd make much of a difference. At the end of the day, sorry, 29 days is just 29 days. It's going to take that long for us to really organise something anyway. So I can definitely handle that. We'll be okay. We'll manage. It's only a short period of time to wait, and it's not until 1942 that we actually get the upgrades to convert the APD Minakaze class into a APD, well, an upgrade the APD Minakaze class into an APD that has access to radar. But that's still going to mean much, well, yeah, a much higher degree of radar within the Japanese Empire. So that's really going to be the actual divergence from history there. We've had a few divergences from history so far. I mean, we are going to be landing at Mersing. I mean, potentially 14,000 troops at Mersing is going to be quite the conundrum for the British forces there. But to really break Singapore, we need a few divisions. I'd say maybe 3 to 4. I'd say even more than that would be probably preferable due to its defenses. Who is winning? It's a good question. Who is winning? Well, so far, the economy is expanded of Japan. We are capturing resource locations. Well, we will be in the future. We still hold those in China for the time being. We haven't captured anything major as of yet. We've so far only captured Bataan Island and the island just north of it. But, well, then again, we have landed in the Philippines and taken well, we will take Vigan and Apari. We'll have additional landings in the Philippines in the following turns. Obviously, the landings at Malaya. We lost a lot of zeros on the first day, which really sucked, but it's something that we can replace pretty quickly, frankly. China is much the same. Not as much activity over here as of yet. We have seen the Chinese forces arrive at Yichang, but our reinforcements actually arrived at Yichang as well, so we've actually increased the garrison there. We should probably see Chinese forces cross the river even the next day or 2 days. Which is really going to, yeah, that's going to cause a lot of issues. Okay. Indeed, go Nippon. Okay. Other than that, yeah, we're ticking on. I mean, we are definitely inflicting positive kill ratios in the air in terms of fighters. And when it comes to, like, bombers, at the end of the day, bombers are obviously going to suffer to fight, as fighters obviously are designed for this sort of purpose of, obviously, the air-to-air battle. Okay. Well, yeah, doing well enough. I think I'd have liked to have actually destroyed a few more ships, but we'll get round to that. At the end of the day, we're not going to be saying, oh, I wish I destroyed a ship 2 turns ago when we destroyed, you know what I mean? Stuff like that. It'll be gone when it's gone. But yes. Thank you so very much, ladies and gentlemen, for watching. I hope you guys have enjoyed this. And at the end of the day, if you have enjoyed this, I do hope that you would consider supporting myself via Patreon or other means. It really does make a difference. I will be making an announcement in the days to follow regarding designs for some merchandise, which is going to be awesome. Trust me about that. It's going to be something that's actually worthwhile. At the end of the day, when it comes to merchandise, I've not ever wanted anything that's like basically like cringy or shallow. I've wanted something that people would actually like and find actually somewhat practical. So I'll be doing a video in a couple days, hopefully sooner, rather than the later, to show some of the designs. But until next time, thank you for watching, and goodbye. Please do consider liking, subscribing, favoriting, sharing, all that bollocks. Until next time, goodbye guys. See you soon.